Hello and welcome. It is Wednesday, and this is a new session that I'm going to be running live on Wednesdays, or running a session or putting posts up regularly on Wednesdays, because this is my Woman's Wednesday. And the reason I've decided to either post or go live every Wednesday is because I do work with all sorts of different leaders, and I absolutely love working with all of them. But I also find that I'm working an awful lot with women, and as a woman myself, it seems to make sense to have a day particularly committed to women and to some of the challenges that women face in the workplace. So I'm delighted to have you here. Do watch me, or do tune in for my lives, or tune in to look out for my posts that I'll be making about women and some of the challenges and how to overcome it as a woman in the workplace every Wednesday. That's going to be the focus for my week. So just to introduce myself, my name's Mary Gregory. I'm a leadership coach. I work with senior leaders in organisations who are navigating complex change, maybe had a bit of a dip in confidence and want some support with engaging people and taking people through that change. Or as a woman, maybe want some support with navigating some of the biases you're experiencing in the workplace and how to overcome those. So what I'm going to focus on today, because obviously I'm introducing the whole idea of running a specific slot for women at work. Today, I'm going to think about just some of the challenges that women face, because the challenges we face in the workplace are different to those that men face. And this month, the theme for my overall sharing on social media is networking. As with many different situations, women have a different experience of networking to that men do. And in fact, in some of the research I've done, or some of the reading around the topic I've done, looking at all the different research that's taken place, it seems that men start networking or thinking proactively about their network straight away as soon as they get into university. So they may be thinking about what clubs they could join. They may make sure they get into a leadership role in those situations. So becoming chairperson of the boating or the rowing society or whatever. That is something they do so that they create a really good network. And by the time they get into the workplace, they've got a really strong network already ready-made. Women are very different in terms of how they tackle their network. So women are far more relational. It just seems to be a natural way of how we are as women, much more nurturing, much more relational, and possibly to do with how we've been brought up as well, and the role differences that we've experienced in growing up. But women tend to prefer to create more intimate, smaller social circles and network circles than maybe men would establish when they're going through university. And women would tend to stay in touch with people more as well and want those closer friendships where there's a real bond. I mean, you think about it yourself. If your partner goes away with their friends, they come back. If they're a man, they'll come back with a very different story of how they built those relationships with those fellow men on that weekend than maybe if a group of women had gone away and done that as well. The sorts of conversations they may have, the sorts of things they connected on. So there are different ways that different genders do things. And one thing that is useful to know, though, is that really it's creating a network and a way of networking that works for you. So there's no hard and fast rules as to how you build your relationships with your networks. Personally, I prefer to meet people for a one-to-one, for a coffee, keeping it quite informal, just having a chat on a one-to-one basis. Or if I'm going to go to an event, I actually prefer something that's quite creative, that's different, that's looking at things from a different point of view. And also quite often I'll go to women-only events because I personally have a preference for having a lot of fun and a real giggle when I'm around lots of different women, more so than I would if men were there for some reason. I have no idea why that is. That's something for me to explore. But anyway, the thing is, try and find a way that works for you in terms of what you're comfortable with and what you like to do in terms of nurturing your relationships and keeping in touch with your network and also expanding your network. And one thing we definitely need to do if you're wanting to stay on track and be proactive in your career is to be proactive in how you approach your network. And often we're not conscious of who is in our network and how extensive our networks may be. We often take it for granted that, this is just the people that I see every day in my network, but your network goes far beyond that. So one thing I'm offering this month as part of my whole focus on networking is this free network mapping tool, which is a great way to actually literally map out your network. We've actually got a page here. You can actually do it online, or you can do it on paper. I'm old-fashioned, so I like to get my pen and pencils out to do things on paper. But you can take a choice on how you do it. But it's a really useful tool to help you map out your network. And also, as we go through the month, I'll explain the different elements of how to keep in touch with your network and how to keep supporting your network and maintaining those relationships. There's also different activities in that network mapping tool that will help you consider the quality of the relationships that you've got as well. So do contact me directly if you'd like a copy of that tool. Also, my Leadership Live has, we've sent out the posts for that already, and that is taking place on the 28th of September. And this month it is all about how can you unlock the power of your network. So it's taking a look at who's in your network, what are the relationships that you can really nurture and create there, or take advantage of, or support. You know, part of networking is the giver gains as well. So it's like, how can you be more supportive to your network as well? So take a look out for my Leadership Live. I would love to see you there. And of course, part of that, if you join my Leadership Live this month, you will get a copy of my networking tool as part of that as well. So look forward to seeing you next week. I'll be around on Motivational Monday to just do a general share at the start of the week. And I'll also be either doing a live or having a post next week on Women's Wednesday as well. Look forward to seeing you then. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.